morning to you. Welcome to the show. My name is Koi. Now, for ages, different types of beauty techniques and theories are being followed to maintain our natural looks to stay beautiful longer. Various natural herbs and other natural ingredients are applied in this process. Now, we've already seen one spa, and it never hurts to give you options. The Healthland Spa is coming up next. Going to a spa is no longer considered as a luxurious extravagance. It's now known to have a beneficial effect on feeling and looking good. However, if you're planning to take that necessary trip to the spa for the first time, Agnes Awar fills us in on what to expect.
Well, you should, first of all, be ready to be pampered. So you should know you're going to be pampered. I'd say always carry a little extra cash because you'll always find something else you want to try. And give yourself time. Do not come when you're in a hurry. At least give yourself 2 hours. If you're going for a treatment that will last an hour, give yourself 2 hours because you might find something else that you want, or the process of changing from your clothes and then changing back into your clothes, you need some time apart from the treatment.
Today, we take you on a soothing journey at the Healthland Spa and see some of the treatments that you can opt to have done while there. First, we go into the steam room. The steam bath takes place in a sealed room. The steam room has an even temperature and is usually filled with mist. For a very wet and hot health treatment, people often seek out a peaceful steam bath. This process takes about 15 minutes.
You should steam your body so that the body can relax just before massage. The pores can open up and your skin breathes, and it gets rid of the toxins that are trapped under the skin. To also enable the body relax when you're going to do a massage. It also softens up the skin so that when you're worked on, when the oil that is being used is being massaged over your body tends to absorb it better because the pores are open. They've also expelled anything that could have clogged them up. So now you're benefiting fully from this oil that is being applied onto your body.
After the session in the steam room, we go to the second stage, which is the body scrub. Body scrubs are a great way to keep your skin healthy and beautiful through exfoliation. An abrasive product such as sea salt in this case is rubbed vigorously and massaged into your skin through an upward movement. It is recommended that you scrub every month because the dead skin forms after 28 days. This session takes 45 minutes.
A full body scrub, it's an exfoliator. It works by getting rid of the dead cells from the skin. Our skin dies every second. Our skin dies and we get new skin. But sometimes we get really crusty because we have not got rid of the dead cells. So a body scrub helps get rid of these dead cells all over the body, leaving you with supple, soft skin. And then when you go for the massage, your skin is soft, it is new skin, you benefit fully from the oil that is used.
The third stage is the body wrap. The bed is covered with polythene papers for two purposes: to prevent the mud from messing the bed and to provide heat.
And it's cold.
A layer of soothing mud is applied to the skin gently using a brush to detoxify and cleanse the skin. Once the mud is evenly distributed, another piece of the polythene paper is used to cover the area so as to heat it up and encourage sweating, which removes the toxins. This process takes 40 minutes. Massage is by nature an intimate and pleasurable experience, but it's not intended to sexually gratify a person. Some spa and massage therapies require the client to be semi-nude and sometimes naked.
Hot. I wanted you to feel. It can be hot. You understand?
Hotter than that?
Yeah, it can be hotter than that.
We do not tolerate sexual advances because there are people who think that a spa is a place where they can get the sexual needs met. We don't do that. A spa is a place where you come to relax.
The final stage is the hot stone massage. As the name suggests, this technique uses stones which are usually basalt, a black volcanic rock that absorbs and retains heat very well and have been smoothed by natural forces in the river or the sea. The process begins with oil being massaged on the skin. The stones are then rubbed on the body so that the body can adapt to the heat. It takes a lot of skill and sensitivity on the part of the therapist. Finally, the stones are arranged according to size along the spine to improve the flow of energy in your body. One of the benefits of the hot stone massage is that the stones can generate heat all over the body better than hands. This process takes about 30 minutes. There is a list of spa etiquette which the client is expected to adhere to. These rules are taken very seriously, so it's important to go through them before beginning your session.
We expect you to come, when you come into the spa, you switch off your phone. You have come to relax. You have not come to still run your business or, that 1 hour, just let your whole mind and body relax. We expect you to leave the spa clean and tidy. There'll be someone tidying after you, but we expect there's that bit that we expect from the client. These are some of the spa etiquettes. And we also expect you to give us feedback. If you find something happening or you see something that does not please you, we expect you to tell us. At least we give you a form to fill so that you're able to tell us what you didn't like. We need you to be as honest as possible. What you'd like us to change, what you'd like us to improve on, we'd like all that.
As a client, remember that the person attending to you is not only your therapist for the day, but also a human being.
Some of the things that you should do are, when you come to the spa, you must respect the therapists. People have mistaken spas for other things, other places. But when you come to the spa, you must respect the therapist so that she can also be able to work with you wholeheartedly and comfortably.
So there you have it. If you're looking to pamper your body, why not try out the spa treatments which use a wide range of lotions, oils, fragrances, and techniques. It's a great way to relax and spoil yourself. The spa industry has a history that dates back to more than 1,000 years, and today it has evolved into a clinical concept. Buying a home is one of the most important investments you will make. Now, protecting that investment is important to you. You need to know that all of the legal issues involved in buying your home are properly handled. And who better to handle such matters than a lawyer? Muthoni Wagenga is an example of such, and she's here to give us her expert knowledge on right at home.
by the time you're signing a contract, there are some approvals you need to have perused, because at the time of signing a contract, there are some documents showing the dimensions, like the approved plans, showing the dimensions of a house. Then there's something called a sample house. Sometimes when you're purchasing, there's usually the sample unit. So if these particulars have already been put in the sale agreement, and they are quite clear that you're purchasing as per the inspected approved drawings, or probably you're purchasing as seen on the show house, then with that you have every right to sue. You have every right to demand for quality of service of what you had demanded, of the product that you had demanded. But most of the time you'll find even on brochures, particulars are never warranted. And that is why you'll need to be very careful, because most of the time what they'll just give you are specifications. It's going to be a 2-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom house, wooden flooring, this is it. But now at the end of the day, you don't get to know what are the actual dimensions of a house. And these things actually change depending on what is going to be approved. Sometimes you may want, sometimes they may say they want to build a house of these dimensions, but what is approved is something lesser. So as at the time of purchasing, you need to have inspected, and that's why you need an advocate. You need to have inspected the approved drawings, because with the approved drawings or the actual drawings, you'll be able to look at them and see the actual dimensions of what it is that you're purchasing, and that now will be able to put you in a picture of what it is that you're purchasing. It's called an assignment. And it varies from developers, or rather from vendors. There are vendors who allow for assignment, where one can come in and at somewhere along the transaction you feel like you want to sell, when especially the prices have gone high, and with the consent of the vendor you can assign the property to somebody else, but now that the person coming in will now take that property with the same terms you took with. For example, if you are paying in a monthly installments, or you are paying on bi-monthly, or whatever mode of payment it is that you are paying. So whatever rights and obligations that you were able to negotiate at the beginning of the contract, you will be handing them down to the new purchaser. So it's called an assignment, and it definitely has to be with consent of the vendor, because some vendors do not allow you to assign the property or sell the property until you yourself have finalized making the payments. So some will demand first finalize on the payments. For example, if you're buying a house for 5 million and you found a purchaser who's willing to sell it, to buy it for 7 million, now the vendor will say, no, pay me my 5 million first. When you find an instance, the new purchaser can even decide, fine, let me help you pay, offset, or rather finalize with your balance, and then now I come in and become the new purchaser. But some vendors are very flexible. They will say, fine, you found somebody else, as long as they are willing to take over your burdens, take over from where you left. So what will happen is that the new purchaser will pay you off what you had paid, together with the profits that you've made on top, and then they will be left now with the vendor and complete the transactions with the terms that you had entered into. So they'll be more or less just taking over from where you'd left off. Now, that is the biggest quagmire purchasers are actually facing, especially when it comes to apartments where you're sharing common facilities and you have a management company. Okay, now what happens is that ordinarily what's supposed to happen is that every year the management company is supposed to take care of the service charge, is supposed to take care of the land rent and land rates of that property and clear it annually, consistently. But what would happen ordinarily is that if you want now to dispose of your property, you will have now to go to the management company. Now, the management companies are now the common owners of these apartments. So you'll have now to go to them to request them to give you their consent also, because they need to give their consent, and also have cleared the land rents and the land rates and give you the clearance certificates. So I call it a quagmire, because at the end of the day you find that you're not detached, you're not free to dispose of your property as you may want to, or charge it, because at the end of the day you will still need the consent and approval of the management company. And sometimes you find that there are delays. Sometimes you may want to dispose of your property and find that maybe they have accrued land rent or rates that are owing, and you find the purchasers at the end of the day, or a person who's selling, decide to run the loss, to pay it off and have it signed, because at that time you find maybe the management company was not running as appropriately as it should have been, because ordinarily it should maintain and ensure that all these payments are paid timely. So that should there be a transaction, or anybody wanting to transact with the property, that they don't now get a hitch at the end of the day when you find out you want to transfer and there's some payments that are due and owing. Yeah. So I call it a quagmire, but it is doable, and we find that some management company that are actually it's smooth running in some places, but not always.
It's that time again when we hear from magnificent speakers whose aim is to encourage us and push us forward as women. Now, times when women were only supposed to be listened to and not to speak are rapidly fading. Who is the speaker in store on Eve Sisters today? You just have to stay tuned to find out.
Also to remind you the different phases that I have come from. Most of you know me as a fashion designer, right? Making clothes. And that's another part of your life. Never put any part of your life on hold. Even if you put it on hold, it grows you. So we did promotion. As a professional designer, I have gone to Cape Town and represented all of you in New York. So I personally have a background of promotion and fashion, and today I'm wearing a different hat. But the hat I'm wearing today is so dear to me, because those are the things that we don't get to see on a daily basis. What you get to see is the promotion, right? You get to see the designs, but you get to see the houses, but you don't get to see how, okay? So I wanted to just bring that to close, because my boy is 14 today. The 2-week-old baby is 14. So we go way back with Joki, and she's a very dear friend. Okay. I'll give you a little other background. I'm a last born of a family of 6 from a single parent. Any single parents here? Put your hands up. Put your hands up, because let me tell you, your children will be standing here one day. And this is the baby, so don't panic, they will get there. After being brought up by a single mom, one of the things you do is grow up fast. She has no time for nonsense, because she has to bring food, pay your education, and this is the baby. So you have to grow up fast. So for me, one of the things that happened in my life is I grew up very fast. Everybody thinks I'm a firstborn. I don't have those traits or time to be babied. But I think it's a good trait. Even those who are not single parents, I'll tell you one thing. Share your life with your children as it is. If you don't have money, tell them. If you are struggling, tell them. If you are tired because you can't meet the needs, tell them. Because when you do that, you're teaching them real life issues. Because that's how I grew up. Let me fast forward and come to the promise, where the reason I'm here today. I wanted to first give you another background, because this background make us connect, right? You get to know me, not the person you've seen doing big things. You get to identify and realize I am just like one of you. Because I grew up in a place called Duboine, right? In Upper Kabete. I went to school in Pangani and State House. My primary school was City Primary, and and I used to move it. It's a 1 hour walk from the bus stop to my home. You walk. If you don't get the early matatu at 6:30, you're in trouble. Because I have to take the 1 hour, take 3 buses before I get to Pangani. So this is not a person who's been brought chauffeur driven, okay? This is a person just like you and I. And because of that, I thought, if you know that's where I came from, and now you know the things that I am doing, don't you want to know how to get there? Don't you know you want to know how to get there? And the simple things I will tell you today is, before we got married, when I met my lovely husband, Pete Muraya, very supportive husband, I told this young man, I can identify Karina, these guys, when they are hot and hot, you have to do the work. But let me tell you, confidence in yourself and in who you are is really important. Now, I told my husband to be, having grown up as a single parent, I said, one of the things I feel, because one of the things that my mother did is invest in property. And as we grew up, we could see her buying land and those shares. Remember those shares of 100 bob? And your parents coming very happy and were like, a share in Kiambu somewhere, and you're like, what is this? But I felt that if this is the way that we've managed to stabilize by owning property, then I think I want a house before we get married. Now this is very risky because here you are, he wants to get married, but you want to buy a house. What if you buy the house and in the evening, like Karina said, he decides to marry somebody else? But I was so sure in my heart that the house is more of a priority than having a wedding that has everybody come and they're happy and they go, and I have nothing after that. So this is what we did. Being abroad in New York, I had a car. I didn't have a car. I had the advantage of getting a house, a car that duty-free. And since he had been working, he had some money. So he put in the money, my allowance to bring a duty-free car, and we brought in a car. Now let me show you. A BMW 320i, a young, handsome guy, and you're telling him to sell it, to buy a house. Are you joking? You must be joking. His marks went up 100 times, and you, this unmarried person, wants to sell this house to put a deposit for a house. It was angelic. But you know the beauty of it? It was in my name. Ladies, you have some power. Use it. The thing is, when we know what we can do, one of the things that we don't do is that we don't apply our strength or our rights. So what I did was, I said, it's okay, let's look for this house. If by then we have a deposit, then we won't sell the car. But if we don't, then what we're going to do, we have to sell the car. So anyway, compromise. Now you make him work harder, right? And you yourself, you work. Fast forward, we ended up buying the house. But now we can't get that house for 6 months because of documentation. So what we did is that in that 6 months, we did get married. So what we did, and which is my next promise, we took that title, we needed to start the business, and we could borrow money against it. So what are we doing when we are not setting aside our money towards something that can actually move you to the next level. So we took a loan and started the business.
Massages utilize a variety of essential oils. Now, knowing which is right for you will give you a head start in caring for your skin. Mid-morning at standupmedia.co.ke is our address. You can also get in touch with us through our Facebook page. It's KTN Mid Morning. We do look forward to your feedback, but it's bye for now.